Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Unfog with Dr. Atahir Parveen. In this session, I am going to discuss the most expected questions from Science Pedagogy part for Karnataka TET. So I am planning 3 parts for these most expected MCQs. So I'll be giving you the answers to the questions also. So please do watch this session completely till the end. And I am sure that these questions will give you a very nice preparation for science pedagogy for Karnataka TET 2023. Okay. So first question is, which teaching approach encourages students to actively construct their own understanding of scientific concepts? See, now this part of pedagogy, that is science pedagogy, if you are not preparing also, you can answer the question if and only if you are understanding the given question and trying to apply the given options for that particular question. Okay, you need to match the options with that question and you can easily find the suitable option for that question if you understand the question. Okay, so reread the question once again to understand the correct answer. Okay. So, which teaching approach encourages students to actively construct their own understanding of scientific concepts? So, what should be the answer here from the 4 options? What are the 4 options? Traditional lecture-based teaching, rote memorization, inquiry-based learning, and teacher-centered approach. So, the correct option for this question is inquiry-based learning, because this is the one approach wherein students get involved actively in order to explore and investigate the concepts, and this involvement leads to deeper understanding of the concepts in the minds of the students. Okay, so option C, inquiry based learning, will be the correct answer for this question. Next question. What is the primary goal of teaching science through hands-on experiments? So this is a very simple, easily understandable question, right? What is the primary goal of teaching science through hands-on experiments? Options are entertainment, memorization, conceptual understanding, and time saving. So which should be the primary goal of teaching science through some hands-on experiments? It should be conceptual understanding, because hands-on experiments are providing practical experience to the learner that aids in understanding the difficult or complex concepts. So, conceptual understanding, option C, will be the correct answer for this question. Next question. A teacher encourages students to collaborate on a group project related to a scientific topic. What skill is the teacher trying to develop? So what is the teacher doing? Teacher is encouraging students to mingle with each other, that is to collaborate in one particular project which is related to scientific topic. So what is the aim of the teacher here? What is the teacher trying to develop? What is the skill which the teacher is trying to develop here? The options given are memorization, problem solving, rote learning, and listening. So what should be the correct answer here? It should be problem solving. The teacher is trying to develop the problem solving skill in the learners. Okay, because usually collaborative projects, they are promoting the problem solving skills because students are working together to find the solution of that particular problem. Okay, so option B, problem solving, will be the correct answer. Next question. What type of assessment helps teachers identify students' learning gaps during the instructional process? So, what type of assessment is helping teachers in order to identify students' learning gaps while taking the class? So, the options given here are summative assessment, final exam, formative assessment, and option D is self-assessment. Which one will be the correct answer here? It will be formative assessment. Formative assessment, or FA, these are conducted during the instruction, while the instructions are given or while the class is taken. in order to provide feedback and guide the teaching in the right direction. Okay, option C, formative assessment, will be the correct option for this question. Next question. Which teaching method involves asking open-ended questions and encouraging student discussions? So the four options are lecture-based teaching, rote memorization, expository teaching, and questioning approach. So among these four options, one option is the one which is giving you the proper open-ended questions and encouraging the student discussions in this approach. So the correct answer will be questioning approach, because asking open-ended questions usually encourages critical thinking and discussion among students. So questioning approach is one proper teaching method which involves asking open-ended questions and encouraging the student discussions. Next question. What is the significance of using real-life examples in science teaching? So why is using real-life examples very important while teaching science? Options are to make the subject difficult, to simplify complex concepts, to discourage student engagement, to increase memorization. This one is a very general question, right? So the correct answer should be, of course, it should be to simplify complex concepts, because real-life examples usually help students to relate the abstract concepts in everyday life experiences. That's why using real life examples in science teaching simplifies the complex concepts in the minds of the learners. Okay. Next question. What type of assessment is typically used to evaluate the overall understanding of a scientific concept at the end of instruction? So, is it formative assessment? Is it summative assessment? Is it self-assessment? Or is it peer assessment? See, two main important assessments are formative assessment and summative assessment. Okay, formative assessment was giving the right direction for the teaching, right, by giving the feedback. Here, the correct answer is the summative assessment, because this assessment evaluates the outcomes of the learner. I mean to say, it evaluates the learning outcomes at the end of a period of the instruction. Usually formative assessments are like unit tests, right? They are conducted monthly or something like that in a very short term period. Whereas summative assessments are like midterm examinations or final examination, you can say. Usually these assessments are conducted at the end of a period of instruction, that is end of the term they are conducted. Okay. Next question. A teacher uses multimedia presentations, diagrams and videos to explain scientific concepts. What strategy is the teacher employing? The options are lecture-based teaching, inquiry-based learning, visual aids, textbook approach. Of course, the options only are giving the indication for the right answer. Multimedia usage, wherein presentations, diagrams or videos are shown, are nothing but visual aids. So these visual aids usually improve the understanding of the learner by providing visual representation of a very difficult or complex concepts. Okay, so option C, visual aids, is the correct answer for this question. Next question. What is the primary goal of scaffolding in science education? The options are removing all challenges for students, providing ready-made solutions, supporting students as they develop skills, discouraging the independent thinking. So what is the correct option for this question? Scaffolding. Actually, scaffolding assists students in achieving tasks which they cannot do independently. So the primary goal of scaffolding in science education is to support the students, because they need some time to develop skills, correct? So this scaffolding helps them in developing these skills. Okay, so option C, supporting students as they develop skills, is the correct answer. Okay. Next, a teacher encourages students to ask why and how questions to stimulate curiosity. What strategy is being employed here? So the options are encouraging memorization, promoting rote learning, fostering inquiry-based learning, using scripted teaching. So why and how comes under promoting the critical thinking and inquiry by asking the questions. Okay, so asking why and how questions, usually it promotes critical thinking and inquiry. So this comes under fostering inquiry based learning. So when a student asks a teacher why and how, so teacher usually encourages the students because this helps in fostering the inquiry based learning among the students. Okay. Now it's time to discuss the most important questions of this session. There are two most important questions. The first question is, name the best teaching aid that can be used to teach the life history of fern plant effectively. 4 options are given: bulletin board, flannel board or flannel graphs, vivarium, printed chart. So which among these 4 options is the best teaching aid which can be used to teach the life cycle of a fern plant so that the learners understand the life cycle of a fern plant very easily? So the answer to this question is a flannel board. Actually, flannel board consists of cutout images which can effectively teach the life cycle of a fern plant. Because this is a visual tool, that's why it engages students and helps them understand the different stages of the life cycle of this fern plant. Okay. Now coming to what is this flannel board, you can just imagine one notice board outside a class or in the premises of the school, wherein teachers stick some pictures or cut out images in order to make students understand what they actually want to explain. Okay. For example, if we are talking about the fern plant, we have this. We can take a printout of this type of a life cycle of the fern plant, or we can take the actual specimen, the fern plant leaves, and we can make some project in order to stick it on that flannel board. And you can also take the help of students in making this flannel board. Okay, so what does this life cycle of the fern plant consist? Actually, in special parts called sporangia, the fern makes some tiny spores. Now these spores are kept in this sporangia. Then with water, the tiny sperm cells move around and sperm cells meet with egg cells. Then there is some mixing together and this mixed cells grow into a new plant. So this is what is depicted in this picture also, wherein you can see how meiosis happens in the matured sporophyte. Then the spores are released and then sperm cells are getting interacted, thereby you get one matured gametophyte and fertilization happens and then zygote is formed and then new sporophyte is formed. Okay, see, to answer this type of a question, you don't need to know the life cycle of the fern plant. You just should have an idea that how can a student understand the life cycle of a fern plant, or for that matter life cycle of a mosquito or life cycle of a butterfly or anything of that sort. Okay, clear, right? Next important question of this session. Heuristic method is a method of teaching which involves in placing our students as far as possible in the attitude of a discoverer. This statement is given by. So who is the person who gave this statement about heuristic method? He is Armstrong, Westway, Rayburn or Coombs. So okay friends, these were the 10 questions based on this session. So meet you soon with the second session, wherein I am going to discuss 10 more questions based on science pedagogy. Okay then. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and if you have not joined my Telegram channel, please do join Telegram channel with the link given in the description below this video. We are discussing lot of questions and concepts in the channel, so it will be very helpful for you to stay connected at least till your examination. Okay then, thank you, all the best, bye.